The AD 70 doctrine teaches that all prophecy was fulfilled by AD 70 and that the law was still in effect for the Jews until that time. To make this whole argument crumble, all one needs to do is to produce one prophecy that was fulfilled after AD 70. Before I do that, I want to show that the verses they take out of context to support their view does not teach what they think that it teaches. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled. Matthew 5, verse number 18. Those who hold the AD 70 view will say, see, the law cannot pass away until all is fulfilled. In order to understand what is being said here, let's examine the context. In Matthew 5:17, Jesus said, do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. In this passage, Jesus tells us that he did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. With this in mind, we can understand that in verse 18, the law will not pass away until Jesus fulfills it. Jesus wanted to make sure his disciples understood this, so after he was raised from the dead, he said the following, these are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. Luke 22, verse 44. Jesus' point that he's trying to get across to his disciples is this. Remember when I said the law would not pass away till all was fulfilled? Matthew 5, verse 17 and 18. That has now happened. This same thought is found in Acts 13, verses 27 through 29. This harmonizes perfectly with the numerous scriptures that state that the old covenant was replaced with the new covenant at the death of Jesus. Hebrews 9:15, Hebrews 8, verses 6 through 7, and Galatians 3, verses 23 through 25. The handwriting of requirements of the law were nailed to the cross, Colossians 2, verse 14, and put to death in his flesh, Ephesians 2, verses 14 through 16. Paul tells us that the Christians before AD 70 were no longer under the law, Romans 6, verse 15, Romans 7, verses 1 through 6, and chapters 8, 1 through 4. Those Christians who believed in Jesus were led by the Spirit and were no longer under the law. Romans 10, verse 4, Galatians 5, verse number 18. Finally, Paul proclaimed that if Christians tried to go back to the law for justification, they would fall from grace. Galatians 5, verse number 4. Although the law was still being practiced by some of the Jews, its authority ended at the cross, and the new covenant took its place at the cross. Contrary to the AD 70 doctrine, we have clearly seen that the law was fulfilled at the point of Christ's death and not at the fulfillment of all prophecy. Now let's look at one fulfilled prophecy that happened almost 400 years after AD 70. As we look at this, please remember that if I can show one prophecy that was fulfilled after AD 70, then the whole belief system crumbles. In Daniel chapter 2, there were 4 different kingdoms that were presented. The 4th kingdom is described as having legs of iron and its feet being partly of iron and clay, verse 33. We learned that this 4th kingdom would be in power at the time that the church/kingdom would be set up in verse 44. Without a doubt, this 4th kingdom is the Roman Empire. In this prophecy, Daniel informs us that the 4th kingdom will be destroyed, verses 34 and 35, verses 44 and 45. Was the Roman Empire destroyed by AD 70? No, it wasn't destroyed until AD 476. This one prophecy by itself destroys the AD 70 doctrine. All prophecy was not fulfilled by AD 70.